Well, I do not know Idris Elba as an actor per se. And by that I mean I don't know many of his roles. I know I know he plays Heimdall in the MCU. I also know that he plays Charles Miner in the Office sitcom, the American version. But other than that, I don't really know much about his acting career. But from what I've seen, he's a good actor. From what I've seen, now, I don't know if other people think otherwise, but from what I've seen, the guy is a really good actor. He can play comedic roles. He can play superhero roles, which is very interesting. Again, that goes to show you the guy is a good actor. Well, as much as I do not know Idris Elba as an actor, at least his acting career. One thing that I do know is that he opposes the canceling of old movies and TV shows, saying he doesn't believe in censorship. Now, when this whole situation with George Floyd started, I was a little concerned, especially when they tried to take down Gone with the Wind, because the left they clearly want to remove these things that are deemed offensive to some people, even though in many cases they're actually uplifting, right? For example, the actress, one of the main black actresses in Gone with the Wind, I think she got an Academy Award. I don't know, but I think it was a very prestigious award. I could be wrong. All I know is that she got a very prestigious award for her acting in that movie. Is that what the left wants? Removing a film where a black woman got a very prestigious acting award? That goes to show you the left are racist, right? But I agree with Idris Elba here. I don't think we should get rid of these old TV shows that are deemed problematic by today's standards. I don't think so. I don't believe in canceling old movies either. But again, the left, they like to go after everything that they deem racist, even though in many cases they're actually targeting major movies that represent, and I say represent in quotes, the black community or any minority for that matter. Now let's read a little bit. And then after that, I'm going to tell you about one of my favorite films of Quentin Tarantino, and I might get some spite from some Tarantino film fans because this film I consider it the best from Tarantino. But some people might get mad at me afterwards because they might disagree with my hierarchy of what I consider the best of Tarantino. But again, I'll get to that later. Actress Idris Elba has come out against canceling old movies and TV shows with content now deemed offensive or racist. Speaking with Radio Times, Elba said that the controversial episodes of 30 Rock, The Golden Girls, The Office, Scrubs, and others should not be erased and should instead contain warning labels at the front. Okay, that I do not agree with either, man. I do not agree with that either. Right? I don't. Now, I do agree with we shouldn't remove them, but trigger warnings, bro? No. Right? I'll draw the line right there. Now, no trigger warnings for me. I don't get easily triggered. Why? Because I have very thick skin, my friend. But again, that's his opinion. At least he's against censorship. But seeing how the left is, you give him an inch to take a mile. I'm not going to give the left an inch by any means. I'm very much a believer in freedom of speech, Elba said. Hear, hear. I believe that too, Mr. Elba. But the thing about freedom of speech is that it's not suitable for everybody. That's why we have a rating system. We tell you that this particular content is rated U, PG, 15, 18 to mock the truth, and you know the truth. But to censor racist themes within a show, to pull it, wait a second, I think viewers should know that people make shows like this. And here's the thing. There's actually movies that actually, they actually use racism as a joke in the sense that, they make quote-unquote edgy jokes that are supposed to be offensive because that's how times were back then. Right? Not to mention, a lot of these good jokes that we remember, they don't work without those racist jokes. We do know what I mean, right? For example, when it comes to one of the episodes of South Park, and I will refer to South Park once more, I think it's called, the episode was the Museum of Intolerance. I think it was called the Museum of Tolerance. I don't know what it was called. Sorry, it was called the Death Camp of Tolerance. There we go. The Death Camp of Tolerance. Sorry, the reason why I got it mixed up is because the kids were forced to go to the Museum of Tolerance. But anyways, the episode is called the Death Camp of Tolerance. And what happens? Well, they make a joke about stereotypes, right? Eventually the kids, they go into the Museum of Tolerance where they basically show all the different stereotypes, right? They have a statue of a Jew who is hoarding money. Then you have a stereotype of an Asian was good at math, right? And then they have a stereotype of a sleepy Mexican, stereotyping that Mexicans are lazy, and then it turns out it's the janitor sleeping on the job, right? Now, that joke is funny because first of all, it's irony. You think that sleeping Mexican, and I have a right to say that because I am Mexican, it's not racist. The joke is the people, Mr. Marsh and everyone, the visitors think that statue of a sleeping Mexican is actually a statue, and in reality, it's just their janitor who's just sleeping on the job. Yeah, that joke works because that's how the joke was meant to work. You take that little scene off, or you change that joke in any way, shape, or form, or you censor that joke or that scene. Yeah, the joke doesn't work. The message doesn't seem to work. The message, at least what the joke was, is that there are some people that do fit their stereotypes for good reason too, right? There are some people who are freaking lazy. Some of them are even Mexicans. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised, right? But anyways, let's keep going. Out of respect for the time in the movement, commissioners and archive holders pulling things they think are exceptionally tone deaf at this time. Thank you. Fair enough and good for you. Okay, I don't agree with that, he continued. But I think moving forward, people should know that freedom of speech is accepted, but the audience should know what they're getting into. I don't believe in censorship. I believe that we should be allowed to say what we want to say because, after all, we're story makers. I agree. When people were mad at Dave Chappelle, saying that they should cancel Dave Chappelle because it's offensive, Dave Chappelle literally said in his special, saying that if you're mad at me after this, remember you clicked on my face. That's true. If you don't like something, you don't have to watch it. When I see a special of Amy Schumer on Netflix, do you think someone ties my hands to a chair and forces me to watch it? No. You know what I do? I look at Amy Schumer and I say, nah, not today. I'm not that desperate. I'm not that desperate to watch something, okay? That's the beauty of it. You don't want to, if you don't like something, do not partake in it. You're not forced to do it. You're not. You don't like Dave Chappelle's comedy? Well, guess what? You don't have to watch it. You can watch Amy Schumer. I don't know why you would watch Amy Schumer, but you can watch Amy Schumer. They're not forcing you to watch Dave Chappelle. Same thing as they're not forcing me to watch Amy Schumer. I let my money speak for itself. If I want to pay money to watch Amy Schumer's stand-up comedy, I'll pay for it. If not, then I won't. That's the beauty of capitalism. There's competition. You want to make money? Well, start competing. Don't expect people to just be forced to buy your merchandise. That's called socialism. Now, let's go to one of my favorite, actually not one of my favorites, my favorite Quentin Tarantino film, Django Unchained. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up this article, as much as it reads, and the title reads Reminder, it's from the Daily Caller, Reminder. Django Unchained is on Netflix, and the Quentin Tarantino film is worth watching. Now, as much as it's basically putting some positive light on the movie, which I think it's a really good movie, I think it's the best of Quentin Tarantino, and you can disagree with me with that, but I will tell you my top three. Django Unchained, Inglourious Bastards, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Again, I might get a lot of rag on the comment section about which Quentin Tarantino film is the best, but I think Django Unchained is my favorite. One, because it's literally set 2 years before the Civil War, and I myself am a huge fan when it comes to reading about the Civil War in terms of historical terms. I really am. Trust me, like, the Civil War was one of my favorite things to learn about during history, at least U.S. history and world history for that matter. And it was always a topic that always interested me, even in college, because I did take class on the Civil War for that. But Django Unchained. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because when this whole situation happened with Gone with the Wind and the censorship of many of these quote-unquote offensive movies and TV shows, I was concerned that Netflix was going to go full woke and remove my favorite Tarantino film from Netflix. Now, Netflix doesn't have a lot of good films. I'll give you that. They do have some good shows as well. They have F is for Family, which is a really good show by Bill Burr. I suggest to check it out. But they also have Django Unchained. And why would this movie be considered offensive? Well, for one, it basically brings up the concept of slavery. They also use the N-word a lot. Now, why would they use the N-word? And I'm talking about the N-word that ends with the ER, not the one that ends with an A. But why would they say the N-word excessively? Well, because it's set 2 years before the Civil War. Not to mention it's set in the South. And at the time, it was normal to address African Americans as the N-word. Even the N-word was used amongst slaves themselves. You'd be surprised. Even Jamie Foxx uses the N-word a lot. Even Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury for one, Nick Fury, who plays Nick Fury in the MCU. Even Samuel L. Jackson uses the N-word a lot. And I thought, man, they might come after this Quentin Tarantino film. They might say, remove this film from Netflix because it's offensive towards the black community. That's what I was worried about. But again, that's what happens. So to Idris Elba, I believe that yes, I agree with him in terms of don't cancel old movies, don't cancel old TV shows. Now I disagree with him on the trigger warnings. I don't think that's a thing. Now it's not because people should know what they're getting into, which I understand why he's saying that. People should know what they're getting into. But the reason why I refuse to put these warning labels, like he likes to call it, is because we see what happens when we give the left an inch. We gave them an inch, right? The left said, oh, we only want to tear down Confederate statues. And now they're tearing down statues of abolitionists, our founding fathers, right? They're trying to tear down statues of Abraham Lincoln, the president behind. Not actually, no, the president who led the charge to end slavery. They're tearing down the statues of Ulysses Grant, the general, the leading general of the Union Army during the Civil War. Now they're tearing those down. So I disagree with him on the trigger warnings, or the warning labels like he wants to call them, because I don't want to give the left an inch anymore. I'm done giving the left an inch. But at least I agree with him that he doesn't believe in censorship. I agree. But when it comes to the Django Unchained, if Netflix, if they even dare either censor this film, or they even dare to remove this film outright because it is deemed offensive towards the black community, I will end my subscription right there. I will. Now, the only reason why I'm keeping my Netflix subscription is because they have F is for Family, which I already saw all episodes of season 4. They have some good movies like The Karate Kid, which I like. And I'm talking about the good ones, the original 3. And they have Django Unchained and Inglourious Bastards on their roster right now. That's the reason why I have Netflix. And not to mention, seriously, those shows and those movies from Tarantino are worth watching. I watch them a lot. Even my parents are annoyed that I've been watching Django Unchained literally every day. There's nothing else good to watch on Netflix. So my Netflix subscription is literally hanging in the balance. So Netflix, I don't know if a Netflix executive or an employee at Netflix is watching this right now, which I doubt it, because obviously there's a small channel. But if some Netflix executive or Netflix employee is watching this right now, I will let you guys know. You remove Django Unchained from Netflix because it's deemed offensive, or you remove FS for Family because it is kind of offensive too, but it's pretty hilarious. Or you remove Inglorious Bastard because he has Nazis in the movies, right? In the movie, you do that. You censor any of those shows, or you literally outright just take them off your streaming service because they're deemed offensive towards minorities. There, you would have lost my clientele. You would. You lose my you lose my money at that point because I don't believe in censorship. I love Quentin Tarantino, and I think Django Unchained is one of his best films. And Idris Elba, I respect on what he says. I respect what he says. No censorship, and I agree. If you guys like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about Idris Elba's opinion in regards to canceling old movies. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification button as well. Share the video, that helps out a lot. And I'll see you guys in a bit.